Hello, friends. Cowboy Jobu here at the Jobu Sports Report. And as always, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and commenting on the Jobu Sports Report. And if you haven't done so yet, be part of the mojo by clicking on the picture of me and Sean Lee. That's right, me and Sean Lee. Now, there's been a lot of speculation and a lot of you fans out there that want AP. Now, of course, people say, well, he's been injured 2 of the last 3 years, so he'll be nice and healthy. Guys, you really believe that at 32 years of age? Can I say Tony Romo started the preseason healthy and got hurt? But then again, what do I know? I'm just a voodoo doll. Let's go to the talking heads on ESPN's First Take.
Today is all done in Minnesota. The Vikings announced that they will not pick up his option for 2017, meaning that the star running back will become a free agent on March 9th. Peterson, who restructured his deal with the team before the 2015 season, had an option for 2017 that would have paid him $18 million, including a $6 million roster bonus had he been on the roster on the 3rd day of the new league year. Peterson releasing the following statement here. It's been a great 10 years with the Minnesota Vikings. They know what I bring to the organization as a player with my work ethic and dedication. I spoke with Rick Spielman this past weekend. The door is still open to find some common ground. I understand addressing the offensive line is one of their main priorities this offseason. In the meantime, I will explore my other options and see what path God leads me on. My main goal remains the same, to win a Super Bowl championship with a great team, which I also believe we have in Minnesota. Here's Adam Schefter on Mike and Mike this morning talking about possible landing spots for the future Hall of Famer.
I know the Dallas Cowboys, there's something about it that's just kind of intriguing. I don't think it's likely, but it is intriguing because Jerry Jones knows how to market his team, sell jerseys. They could preserve Ezekiel Elliott. They have the NFL still investigating Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something, but you have insurance in case anything does come out of that. And Adrian Peterson's from Texas, always wants to play for the Cowboys. Again, I don't think it's likely, but it is intriguing and it is worth monitoring.
The Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, Stephen A. Smith? How do you feel about it? AD down there with Zeke?
Well, it's not going to happen. I don't anticipate that it's going to happen. I spoke to a few sources this morning, one in particular within the last 15 minutes or so. I'm being told that Adrian Peterson, some of the top teams on his list, 2 of the top teams on his list would be that of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Oakland Raiders. Now, both of those teams were considered to have pretty decent offensive line. The Green Bay Packers had a top 5 offensive line, considering its pass protection of Aaron Rodgers. They're on the list as well. The Seattle Seahawks, probably low on the list because they're known for having some issues with their offensive line over the last couple of years. He's still intrigued by the kind of things that they can do just because of the overall talent on that squad. But those are the top 4 teams that you're hearing along the way. Houston would have been in the mix if it were not for their deal signing Lamar Miller, so they've got to take that into consideration as well. But Tampa Bay, the Raiders, and the New York Giants, Max, are all on the list. And I would tell you right now that they're top 3 on Adrian Peterson's list. Now, when we think about him, let's understand something. He's going to be 32 years of age on March 21st. But let's also remember the fact that he's pretty much missed 2 of the last 3 seasons. You can't look at his age and say, oh, he's done. What you have to look at are the injuries. Now, durability is a question mark because 2 of the last 3 seasons he's been injured. However, because he's been injured and played a grand total, he only played like 4 games in 2 of the last 3 seasons, only played 1 game 3 years ago, only played 3 games this year, even though he played the full load last season. Take into consideration the amount of hits. And Darren, I'll let you speak to that. There are people that have speculated, one guy in particular speculated to me close to Adrian, that he probably saved himself like 1,000 hits on his body in that span. And so they're counting on people literally remembering that, Max, literally remembering that, Molly and Darren. They're counting on folks remembering that he's been injured, therefore he hasn't been exposed to the level of punishment comparable to somebody who would have been in the lineup all of that time. So it's simply a question about his knee, whether or not he's healthy enough to go. And if he's healthy enough to go, considering the workout warrior that he's known to be, the kind of shape and commitment to excellence that he's known for putting forth, combined with the fact that he hasn't been exposed to the level of punishment normally his body would have been exposed to by this point, they're looking at it as him being in a prime position to land with one of those teams. If I'm Adrian Peterson, I ain't thinking about no Dallas Cowboys, but I'll tell you this much. If you want to talk about the hype machine that is Jerry Jones, y'all know who I would think? I would say the Oakland Raiders. If Adrian Peterson ended up wearing the silver and black with him and Latavius Murray in the backfield, with Derek Carr as your quarterback, with Crabtree and Amari Cooper as your wideouts, Lord have mercy.
Dallas is an idiotic fit for Adrian Peterson. I don't understand the logic here. Adrian Peterson has to be your primary running back. He's not a backup. What does he block? He's not, like, you know, that's not the. Is he a third down back? He's catching passes out of the backfield? No. He's. By the way, let me just rewind a second. Remember in the beginning of the season when we said how many years does Adrian Peterson have left? And I explained to people how as guys get older and they're exposed to more hits, they get hurt more because not only do their bodies change, they've taken a lot of hits, but just the exposure means you're more likely to get hurt. He will never be Adrian Peterson again after that year. Remember that? I kept arguing with everyone. Jerome Bettis on the show about that.
Hold on.
Yes.
Stop the presses. Before you continue, don't you dare try to be slick on national television. Yes, you're accurate with everything you just said about Adrian Peterson, but don't you dare try to use that as an excuse with what you said about Tom Brady. You said Tom Brady's
Same thing's gonna happen
off a
to
cliff,
Brady.
not because of injuries. Adrian Peterson, you predicted injury.
Hold on.
You predicted injury with Adrian
But
Peterson,
that's part
not
of
with
the
Tom
clip.
Brady.
I will table the Brady discussion. I'll be proven right over
You
time.
table it. Don't get slick on national television. That's not what you said.
Just as I was proven right about Adrian Peterson, or will be. But
No.
Peterson, just because he won't be Adrian Peterson anymore, you know, the same way we just had a conversation about this. Revis isn't Revis. But Adrian Peterson's still a good back. I mean, based on his whole history, you'd expect him to be productive. I think of him as a souped-up Frank Gore. Okay, so what kind of team does he need?
What?
Yeah, souped-up Frank
Adrian
Gore.
Peterson?
At this point,
A souped up Frank, you
Yeah.
should be ashamed. I swear I'd throw this tea on you if I could. Adrian
act
Peterson's
like
a
Frank Gore's
souped
a
up
bum.
Frank Gore?
You act
Have
like
you
Frank-
lost your mind?
What's wrong with Frank Gore? Hold on, what's wrong with
Souped
Frank
up
Gore?
Frank Gore?
Yeah. At
That's
this
all
point in
you
his career.
can do?
By the way-
Adrian Peterson.
By the way-
souped up Frank Gore. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Frank
And
Gore is
next.
still pretty good.
Not bad. Throw something at you. Let me throw something at you. You got to be crazy.
You act like-
a souped up Frank
You're
Gore
gonna-
from
you're-
Adrian Peterson.
You're going to have to explain
Really?
yourself to Frank Gore. You act like he's a bum. Frank Gore's a good
He's
player.
not a bum, but he's no Adrian
so
Peterson.
So a souped-up Frank Gore is a post-prime Adrian Peterson. Yes.
Oh, you did. That's a disgrace. You better apologize on national television to Adrian Peterson
Incorrect.
right now.
Incorrect.
You should apologize.
Now,
You got to be crazy.
It's actually a compliment.
Oh, my goodness.
It is a
Max,
compliment.
I'm with you, man. Go ahead, continue, Max.
Well, okay, let me go. So anyway, what kind of team does he need to go to, given the fact that he's not like blocking and he's not for like obvious passing downs, all that. He needs to go to a team, ideally, who needs a runner to put him over the top, a good back to put him over the top, and you know, with a strong center and guards and stuff, you know, so you can run. Now, that may not exactly sound like the New York Football Giants, my New York Football Giants. However, the Giants keep blowing it in the draft on offensive linemen. Tackles, they're not getting that right, but you know what happens to those guys? They become guards. And actually, when you look at the Giants roster, they have some guys who can play in the interior, center and guard. And in fact, what they're missing is a running game. I like Adrian Peterson for the Giants, and even though the Seattle Seahawks have issues on the offensive line, boy, if they could run the ball a little bit, that's a pretty good team.
I don't see the fit in New York, nor do I see the fit in Green Bay because they run
Darren,
a
hold on, Darren.
offense.
Darren, I need you to say, did you agree with his statement?
Look,
As
I'm
a
not,
souped up
he's
Frank
not a
Gore, you gonna
souped
get on
up.
him?
Look, I think that's a totally different. You can't compare those two. They're totally different style running backs.
You know what I mean?
Frank Gore is a very good running back.
Right.
He has
He's
been
a
his
very
entire
good
And
running
the
back.
point is, he's
I'm not
extended his
disrespecting him.
career as an older running back who's still good.
Let him answer the question,
but-
Max.
I mean, that's a
Let him
totally
answer the
different
question.
comparison. Oh, anyways,
All right, I'm
was
just making sure.
Yes,
I'm just making sure. You
Not
better
being
not
right
have
off the
agreed
subject.
with him. You better not have agreed with him,
Going back
Darren
to,
Woodson.
the,
I'll tell you that
to
much.
that West Coast offense, he's not. That's not his fit. His fit is not. I mean, if you look at the Giants, they're in shotgun most of the time.
Right.
I mean, he's not a guy that's going to run the draw plays. You look at Adrian Peterson. He's a two-back guy. Run it downhill. You
First
have to
and second
change-
down, yeah.
You have to change your mentality as a football team. If you're the Giants or Green Bay, to bring in Adrian Peterson, because that's not their mentality. Eli Manning wants to throw the ball outside to Odell Beckham. Aaron Rodgers is who he is. He has weapons on the outside. Jordy Nelson, Cobb. He wants to throw the ball. That's not a team that Adrian Peterson can play for simply because he's going to be in pass protection mode. That's not happening. Oakland Raiders are the team that you have to look at, and you're right simply because the Raiders are a team, big offensive line. They want to grind you out for four quarters. Latavius Murray is going to be gone.
Yeah, he's a free
If
agent.
Adrian Peterson can come into that fold and run the ball consistently, I mean, that's their mentality. They want to set you up with punish you at the line of scrimmage.
Assuming Derek Carr gets healthy.
Yeah, Derek Carr will be back. But that's the team that you're looking at. I can't see them. I think Jamal Charles is a great fit for Green Bay and the New York Giants, but not Adrian Peterson.
Well, Darren Woodson, I just have a simple question. Why did you hesitate and stutter a little bit when it came to echoing my brilliance and my honesty? There's nothing wrong with saying that you agree with me. Why'd you sound hesitant to say that? What's your problem? Why can't you say Stephen A? I agree. Stephen A was right. Stephen A was right.
You know what, Max?
Say it.
What?
Say it with your chest. Say it with your
A
chest.
souped up Frank
Adrian
Gore.
Peterson, yeah.
That's what you're calling him, right?
Yeah, he's better than Frank Gore, a guy who's very good, a guy who can extend his career as a useful player even when he's not a star.
You know what? I agree with you, Max.
Thank you very much.
I agree with you, Max.
Thank you.
You know what? It's time for you to go.
Go ahead,
See, this is
man.
what happens when you contaminate this show with former Cowboys. This is exactly what happens. This
Smart man.
nonsense. You're going to agree
Despite
with him
the
just to
fact that he
make
played
him
for the
feel
Cowboys.
good.
No, I'm just telling you,
Just
call it
to
what it
make
is.
Maximilian feel good. Or Maximus. Which one would you want, Max? Maximus or Maximilian?
Max
I mean,
is
which
fine.
one would you
Just Max is fine.
Okay? No, I mean, please. Y'all
Darren,
make
this
me
is why I
sick.
said it's
Unbelievable.
bittersweet. He's on one today.